There is a moment when the noise does not disappear. It simply steps back far enough for you to notice it has been standing close for a very long time. Not the noise outside you, not the obvious sounds, the quieter strain beneath everything. The effort of holding yourself together, the subtle readiness that never fully turns off. If you are here now, still listening, still present, it means something inside you has already begun to soften. You did not arrive here by accident. You arrived because you have been carrying more than you were meant to carry alone. Because you learned how to move forward even when rest felt unavailable. Because you became skilled at staying composed while something inside you felt tired. This is not a space where you need to improve yourself. This is not a space where you need to figure anything out. You do not need silence tonight. You do not need answers. You do not need to fix your life. You only need enough quiet to feel yourself again. Let your breathing be exactly as it is. No correction, no guidance. The body knows how to settle when it no longer feels watched. You might notice the weight of your shoulders, or the way your jaw has been holding itself slightly clenched, or a faint tension across your chest. These are not problems, they are signs of endurance, and for now, you are allowed to stop enduring. You do not need to hold yourself upright here. You do not need to stay alert. You are allowed to arrive exactly as you are, without apology, without explanation. And as you arrive, something begins to loosen. Not dramatically, not all at once, just enough to feel safe. As the body begins to sense safety, it stops bracing for what might come next. You may still feel alert, you may still feel aware, but the edge begins to dull. Thoughts may pass through you now. Lists, memories, things left undone. You do not need to push them away. Quiet is not the absence of thought. Quiet is the absence of pressure around thought. When pressure eases, even the busiest mind learns how to slow itself. You may notice space appearing in unexpected places. Behind the eyes, in the chest, across the belly. This space is not empty. It is kind. It does not demand clarity. It does not ask for insight. It simply allows you to rest inside it. You have been living in a state of readiness for longer than you realize. Prepared to respond, prepared to adapt. Quiet enough means you no longer have to stay prepared. For this moment, nothing is being asked of you. You are not falling behind. You are not missing anything. You are allowing your system to remember what it feels like to be supported. As the outer noise softens, attention naturally turns inward, not forcefully, not deliberately. It happens because there is finally space. This inward movement is not withdrawal, it is return. You may begin to feel sensations that were previously muted, a warmth, a heaviness, a gentle emotional presence. Nothing is wrong. This is what happens when the system no longer has to suppress itself. If emotion surfaces, let it move slowly. You do not need to analyze it. You do not need to name it. Softness is not weakness. Softness is intelligence. It knows when to open. It knows when to protect. You are not too sensitive. You are not fragile. You are responding to safety. As the inner world settles, a quiet steadiness begins to form. Not excitement, not intensity. Something calmer, something truer. This steadiness does not need validation. It does not announce itself. It simply remains. As you settle more fully into this quieter state, you may notice how unfamiliar it feels to not be moving toward anything. There is no task unfolding here. no destination being approached, and for a moment, the mind may look for something to do. That's okay. It has been trained to stay active, to stay alert, to stay ready. But underneath that habit, there is another rhythm waiting, a slower one, a steadier one. As the body remains supported, the breath begins to lengthen naturally, not because you are controlling it, but because it no longer needs to stay shallow. You may feel a gentle heaviness now, a pleasant weight, as if gravity is no longer something you must resist. This is the body remembering that it does not need to hold itself up alone. You are allowed to sink into support. Stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness without urgency. In stillness, nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is being demanded. You do not lose yourself here. You find what has been waiting beneath effort. There is a quiet dignity in this moment, a sense of being without performance. You are not being measured. You are not being assessed. You are simply here, and that is more than enough. In the absence of effort, something unexpected becomes visible: strength, not the kind that pushes, not the kind that proves itself, a quieter strength, the strength of remaining present, the strength of not forcing yourself forward, the strength of listening inward. You have carried yourself through a great deal, even when you doubted yourself, even when you felt unseen. That strength never needed to announce itself. It lived quietly beneath everything. And now, without pressure, you can feel it again. This strength does not feel rigid. It feels flexible, responsive. It allows you to soften without collapsing, to rest without disappearing. You are allowed to be gentle with yourself now, without losing your edge, because your edge was never what kept you steady. It was your ability to adapt, to feel, to endure with awareness. Quiet enough reveals that you do not need to harden to survive. You can remain open and still remain whole. As stillness deepens, a subtle shift occurs. Not dramatic, not sudden, but unmistakable. Awareness begins to feel less effortful, less localized. You may sense yourself as more spacious, less defined by edges. This is not disorientation. It is expansion without strain. The inner light you carry does not brighten by force. It reveals itself when resistance softens. You do not have to reach for clarity. It emerges naturally when pressure dissolves. This is the Lumen shift. A gentle remembering. That presence does not require tension. That awareness can be wide and soft at the same time. You are not becoming something new. You are shedding what was never required. What remains feels steady, quiet, true. As this expanded awareness stabilizes, you may notice something important. Nothing needs to be held in place. You are not balancing on effort. You are resting on presence. This stability does not depend on conditions. It does not disappear when thoughts return. It lives underneath movement. You can carry this quiet into motion, into conversation, into the world. It does not need protection. You do not need to cling to it. It knows how to remain. This is what inner stability feels like. Not control, not certainty. Trust. Trust that you can meet what comes without abandoning yourself. Quiet enough does not remove life's complexity. It allows you to meet it without losing your center. As this quiet steadiness settles more fully, you may begin to notice how naturally it integrates itself. There is no effort required to keep it, no discipline needed to hold it in place. It weaves itself gently into your awareness, into the way you breathe, into the way you sense yourself in space. You may feel more embodied now, more present in your physical form, not heavy, but grounded. This is integration, the moment when insight stops feeling separate from life, when calm no longer feels like a state you enter and leave, but something that quietly accompanies you. You are not meant to stay suspended in stillness forever. Stillness is meant to move with you. It shows up in how you respond instead of react, in how you pause instead of push, in how you listen inward before giving outward. You may notice a gentler relationship with yourself forming, less judgment, less urgency. There is nothing wrong with you that needs constant correction. There never was. The quiet reveals this. You are allowed to move slowly sometimes. You are allowed to need space. You are allowed to choose softness without apology. This does not make you less capable. It makes you more aligned. Integration means you no longer leave yourself behind. In order to function, you carry yourself with you now. As awareness begins to widen again, there is no rush to return fully outward. You are not leaving this space. You are simply expanding from it. Feel the subtle boundary of your body, the air around you, the space you occupy. Notice how different this feels from how you arrived. Not dramatically different, just quieter. This is how return happens when it is gentle. Nothing snaps back into place. Nothing demands your attention all at once. You bring the quiet with you instead of abandoning it. It moves into your eyes, your posture, your tone. You may sense a quiet confidence now, not the kind that asserts itself, the kind that rests easily. You do not need to announce your presence. You do not need to prove your value. You know where you are inside yourself, and that knowing is steady. When life asks you to move again, you will move from this place, not from tension, not from pressure, from presence. Quiet enough does not disappear when sound returns. It simply becomes harder to notice unless you remember how it feels. And now, you do. Before this moment ends, take one more quiet pause, not to hold on to anything, not to capture the feeling, just to acknowledge what is present. You are not empty. You are not drifting. You are grounded in something quieter than thought. This quiet does not belong to this moment alone. It does not fade when attention shifts. It remains beneath activity, beneath conversation, beneath motion. You do not need to return here deliberately. You do not need to recreate the conditions. Your body remembers. Your breath remembers. And the part of you that softened tonight will soften again. Whenever it is allowed, there is nothing more to understand, nothing more to receive, just this gentle completeness. Stillness does not mean stopping. It means moving without friction. You carry this with you now, not as an idea, as a felt truth. And if at any point the world feels loud again, you will know where to find yourself. Right here, quiet enough